Good evening. Tonight, my lizard friend and I will be talking to you about arithmetic and geometric sequences. In class today, we've been talking about different types of sequences. And basically, the two that we're going to mainly focus on are called arithmetic and geometric. So make sure that you have your date written down here. So we know that today is what is today? 27th, right? So we'll do 1/27/14, and we're going to title it arithmetic sequence up here, okay? And you should have found when you were going through your sequencing that some of the sequences are either added by the same number or subtracted by the same number each time. So that's called an arithmetic sequence. So each number or each term, these down here are called terms. Okay, here we go. This is a term, that's a term, just like when we're doing polynomials. So this is called your first term, and then this obviously would be your second term, and your third term, and then your fourth term, and so on, okay? So each term needs to increase or decrease by the same amount each time. And this increase and decrease is called the common difference. So whenever we're starting with sequences, we should always look and see if they're adding or subtracting by the same number. So when I'm looking at these two, they're clearly going down. So I'm going to say, well, what's 24 minus 16? So we'll do a little borrowing here, and that's going to give me 14 minus 6, which is 8. Okay? So the difference between 24 and 16 is 8. So now let's see what the difference is between the second and third term. So it would be 16 minus 8, which would give you 8. And then we take the difference between 8 and 0. 8 minus 0 is 8. So we can say each time our sequences is decreasing by 8. And that is called your common difference. And it's labeled with the letter D for difference. So here, for this sequence, I would say my common difference is -8, since it's decreasing by 8 each time. Okay, makes sense? So arithmetic sequence has to go up or down by the same amount each time, and that amount is called the common difference. So let's look at a second example here. So like I said before, first of all, we're going to take our first two terms, and let's see, these are increasing, so I want to know what they're increasing by. So I'll do 6 minus 3, that's 2. And then here I'll do 12 minus 6, and that gives me 6. So automatically I know the difference here is 2 and the difference here is 6. Therefore this cannot be an arithmetic sequence because they have to be going down or up by the same amount. And this went up by 2 and us up by 6. So the second type of sequence we're going to talk about is called geometric sequence. And that's where it's either multiplying or dividing by the same amount each time. So in this case, it's multiplying by, looks like 2. So we call this a geometric sequence. And that means it's multiplied by the same amount each time. Now sometimes it can be divided, which we'll go into later, and that means they multiply by its fraction form. But in this case, we can tell. So automatically we ruled out arithmetic because it increased. So then I think, okay, this has to be geometric. So 3 times what number is 6? That would be 2. 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 2 is 24. Okay? So I can now tell that this is no longer arithmetic. If I multiply each one by 2, I'm getting the next term. So therefore this is a geometric sequence. Geometric sequence is when the terms are multiplied by the same number. Do the number side. Now that is called its common ratio. That number. So that one is, we used R for common ratio, and we times by 2 each time, so the common ratio here is 2. Okay? So basically we're looking at two types of sequences, arithmetic or geometric. It's either going up and down by the same number, or by adding and subtracting, or multiplying, dividing by the same number. Okay? So let's look at one more example here and we'll be done. Here, let's see, make this a little bit better so you can see it. We're going to look at word problems across, because most of these are going to be in word problems. So the biggest part is being able to identify which one it is, geometric or arithmetic. So here we have the numbers a week and the savings account. So in week 0, they had $100. So they must have put $100 in. Then every week we want to know how much they're putting in. So the first thing we're going to rule out is if it's arithmetic or not. So I'm going to find the difference. It's increasing, right? So the difference between 100 and 120 is 20. And so from here, it's increasing by 20. And here it's increasing by 20. I'll put a little plus there for increasing. Okay, so because it's increasing by the same amount, we would say this is arithmetic. And then we could say the common difference is 20. It's going up by 20 each time. Okay, let's look at this example. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is term 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here these are going down. So again, I want to see if it's arithmetic. So 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So they are going down by 1 each time. So again, that would tell me that this is arithmetic and that my common difference is negative 1. So my question to you is, we've talked about function families all year round. If you forgot, function families are your linear, quadratic, exponential. We also did absolute, and then we did the piecewise. So I want to know, which function family do you think the arithmetic sequences belong to? So please answer this question. And then let's look at one more example here. So here again, I'm going to look at, and first I'm going to do some subtracting. Okay, so I know this is going up, so actually we're adding, right? 4 plus 4 would give me 8. If it's arithmetic, it should go up by 4. So 4 plus 4, that should give me 12, and I'm getting 16. So automatically that tells me this is not arithmetic because it's not increasing by 4 each time. So most likely it's geometric, so that means it's got to be multiplying by something. So 4 times what number is 2, or 8? I'm going to say 2. 4 times 2 is 8. And then if it's geometric, this should be 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And if I keep going, it's multiplying by 2. So this is a geometric sequence, right? And the ratio is 2. It's going up by 2 each time. So I'm going to ask you the same question here. What function family do you think geometric sequences belong to? Linear, quadratic, exponential, absolute, or piecewise? So you have 2 questions to answer and some good notes to have. And we'll see you in the morning.